I want to watch a Biosparks video talking about this one boss can ruin progression. Which boss is he going to say? This one boss can ruin progression. Attunement to Huntsman. The first boss of Karazhan. Yep. That's probably it.
How's it going, lads? It's the Wolverine of Biosparks. In my previous video, I discussed the boss encounters that involved resistance gear. However, one of these bosses is not like the others.
I'll tell you this. On probably 3 occasions, you know, keep in mind, I'm playing TBC, I'm 12, I'm 13 years old. Mother Shahraz was very hard for me. And the reason why is because Mother Shahraz made me hard. And all the time, I would AFK on the fight, or on the trash leading up to the fight, and I just jerk off. And I actually died a couple times on the fight because I was too busy jerking off. I was 12, like that's just the way it goes.
In which, if you don't prepare and organize your raiding team extensively, then it's possible to become stuck in your raid progression for quite some time, depending on how many resources your guild has access to. I'm talking about the one and only Mother Shahraz. You'll find her in the Black Temple inside the Den of Mortal Delights.
Mommy booba.
Wait, hold on. How did this content manage to slip into a teen-rated game?
Best stream on Twitch, bro. Keep it up.
I'm putting myself in a very dangerous situation here.
Ooh.
The only way this kind of content got into the game is because Blizzard is in league with a very menacing and vicious group. Rumors amongst the classic community have been aware of such a group. In fact, this group is so dangerous it could be considered a cult. And every cult has a leader working in the shadows.
Who?
Who is this leader? I dare not say. All I can say is, be cautious, be vigilant, or you may suffer a terrible fate at the hands of this cult. So you can think of Mother Shahraz as the Saffron of the Burning Crusade, in which you will require a huge amount of resources dedicated towards bringing her down, especially if you're aiming to clear the Black Temple within the first 3 weeks of Phase 3. So let's get straight into why she can be such a huge barrier to your guild's progression. Once Phase 3 of TBC Classic launches, we will have access to the Battle of Mount Hyjal and the Black Temple. If a guild clears through Hyjal and then makes their way through the Black Temple, they'll reach Mother Shahraz and get absolutely decimated by the overwhelming amounts of shadow damage. Now, even if a guild knew ahead of time that she requires shadow resistance, if they simply took the route of clearing Hyjal and the Black Temple up until Mother Shahraz, they would realize their first fatal mistake. All the crafted shadow resistance gear require Hearts of Darkness, which only drop off Hyjal trash and select mobs within the Black Temple.
Yep.
So if you clear those 2 raids normally, then it will be completely impossible to have enough Hearts of Darkness to craft the shadow resistance gear.
You gotta farm the trash.
These are the epic pieces you can craft for the cloak and cloth armor. The other armor types give the exact same resistances. So if a player wanted to be fully capped, then they would need to wear all these items, as well as the Medallion of Karabor, which is a reward from completing your Black Temple attunement, as well as the Priest Shadow Protection, which will give you a total of 370 resistance. All these crafted pieces for one player require 9 Hearts of Darkness. So since you need 22 members of your raid with as much shadow resistance as possible, you will need 198 Hearts of Darkness, as well as a few extra for your off-tanks to wear some shadow resistance gear as well.
That's a lot.
Now you're probably wondering, how on earth are you going to get so many Hearts of Darkness in the first lockout? Especially since guilds...
Orcs are beating my ass. Watch this. Watch. 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 See, he knows. Yeah, he knows. Watch him. Watch. That's my favorite part.
Won't be selling them since they need them for their own progression. Well, this is where you, as a guild, need to decide if you want to try and push past Mother Shahraz in the first few weeks, because there is only one way to farm them efficiently, and it's not going to be a fun experience. You're going to have to farm Hyjal trash a lot, and I really mean a lot. The raid is designed to send 8 waves of trash and then a boss to attack the Alliance base guided by some NPCs, as well as Jaina Proudmoore. Now, this is where you can use the raid's design to...
He made a huge mistake. Hearts don't drop in Hyjal until patch 2.2, which is phase 3. Who knows how they're going to do that progressive, like, loot dropping, you know? Because we're getting 2.4 point whatever, you know? I don't know. Who the fuck knows how exactly that's going to play out? But you're right, right?
To your advantage. The guild could use a 25-man raid team to farm 8 waves of trash, which will let the boss spawn, and then let it kill Jaina, which will reset the waves after a few minutes. 8 waves of trash will consist of 106 mobs that you can use to gather as many Hearts of Darkness as possible. However, you are not going to do this because this is the most inefficient way of pulling this off. What you will need is to have 25 members of your guild and 5 bench players minimum, so any normal sized guild can do this.
Okay.
You'll then take your 3 tanks and split them off into 3 separate raids. Next, you'll have 2 healers in each of the raid groups, followed by the DPS, ensuring that each one has access to good area of effect potential. So warlocks and mages are going to be distributed accordingly.
No shit.
Then, what you're going to do is farm 6 out of the 8 ways of trash, since the last 2 ways can be quite difficult with 10 raiders, but if your guild has the potential, then try out waves 7 and 8, just to see if it's possible. But I'll proceed assuming you are doing the minimum of 6 waves.
Okay.
So now, instead of farming 8 waves as a 25-man raid with 106 mobs, you now have 3 10-man raids farming the first 6 waves, which means you'll have 210 mobs on farm.
I was lock tanking Leaf there's a blind on a laptop. On our last attempt I had a case of explosive diarrhea, so I ran into the bathroom with my laptop while spamming
steering pains, barely made it, but I realized I pissed over the bathroom with my laptop. Yeah, I remember, like, did anyone else do that? Who else took their laptop to the bathroom with them when they were playing WoW? I used to do it when I would play RuneScape also. And, like, I would always try to do it secretly so my parents wouldn't see me do it, because I knew how it looked. But one time, I'm in the bathroom for, like, 45 minutes. Like, I'm just fucking gaming, man. And I was taking a shit, and I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna keep sitting in here. It's, like, kind of cozy. And so I walk out of the bathroom, and my mom is incidentally standing right outside the door. And she just gives me this look, like, she didn't even say anything. She didn't even say a word. She just looked at me, like, it was just extreme disappointment. You know, and you know, she thought I was like jerking off in there, but I was just gaming. Like, she just doesn't fucking get it, dude. You know, moms just don't get it.
Effectively doubling your efficiency. Even better,
no
if
XP
you can
waste,
also do waves
you know?
7 and 8. Now, if you think 10 players going into a raid designed for 25 players sounds like a death wish, don't worry, because in case you forgot, you also have the Alliance NPCs and Jaina Proudmoore inside the base to help you. So as you engage the trash, make sure you drag them over to Jaina, and you'll be in a safe position. Now, getting over 200 Hearts of Darkness in one session is still very difficult. So what you can do is...
I guarantee you, this whole Heart of Darkness thing, there's going to be some fucking mage. It's going to be jokered, right? You know, some fucking mages are going to figure out a way they can solo the farm. It's going to be the new mage, best in slot gold farm. They're going to sit in there 12 hours a day, doing high gel resets, farming Heart of Darkness, you know, selling them. You know, I guarantee it. I mean, you got mages soloing fucking next Rammus, man, right? So you know what's going to happen.
As soon as Phase 3 dates are announced,
that's a lot of fucking
you can make some raid events in Discord, and set up some high gel trash farming events throughout the week, and delay your main raid to later on in the week. You will only ever have to do this once, because I promise, once you have the hearts you need for the Shadow Resistance gear, you won't have to do this farming ever again. So it really is a case of organising a few evenings of farming in 1 week, so that you can secure progression for the Black Temple for the rest of TBC Classic, which honestly is a pretty good deal. Okay, so you sorted out the Hearts of Darkness issue. Now there's another problem.
Okay.
If you intend to create the Shadow Resistance gear for 22 of your raid members, then you needed to have done some insane preparations beforehand. If you saw my previous video showing how bad the materials for Hydros the Unstable are, well, this one just got a hell of a lot worse.
What the fuck?
These are the base materials for one raider for their full set of Shadow Resistance gear. Now these are the materials for 22 raiders. 198 Hearts of Darkness, 22 bolts of imbued netherweave,
not too bad.
110 void crystals,
not bad.
286 primal life,
that's really bad.
And a whopping 396 primal shadow.
That's really bad. Antonio Banderas gift.
I'm going to be honest, with the inflated economy that we have going into TBC Classic, this list is going to be disgustingly expensive. So I really urge everyone who has any intent on clearing the Black Temple within the first few weeks to get their guild stockpiling these materials as soon as possible. Make them your top priority, because if you leave it late, you are going to have to sell an arm and a leg to buy these materials off the auction house. Now that we have all the materials out the way, the next question is, do we have a way to circumvent having all these materials in the first week of Phase 3? Because farming all those Hearts of Darkness as well as the crafting materials is very, very intense. Well, luckily, there are a few alternatives that we can use to help us. Remember, Mother Shahraz is mostly tank and spank. As long as your raid manages the Fatal Attraction mechanic, it should be a guaranteed kill, because the Shadow Resistance gear absorbs most of the damage for you.
Very true.
The first thing guilds can do is stock up on flasks of Chromatic Wonder. It will provide you with 35 resistance in all schools of magic, which is almost as good as some of the crafted gear. So have your Herbalist and Alchemist working on this before Phase 3.
Okay.
Another thing to help is have your Alchemist transmute Primals into Primal Life and Shadow. Looking at this diagram, Primal Earth and Water can be what your Guild Alchemists target to start
Wait, so what the fuck? So, hey, which is the cheapest? Earth is the cheapest. Earth is like worthless. So you do Earth to Water to Air to Fire. Too easy, really. Too easy, really.
Transmuting into the primals you need. Now I know it's once every 24 hours, but look, if you've seen my videos before, you must know by now I'm all about looking at the bigger picture. Transmuting one primal water into a primal shadow when you need 396 of them seems like a drop in the ocean. But if your guild has a few alchemist alts that have discovered this transmutation recipe, then if one of them did this every day for 4 weeks, then that's 28 of the primal shadows sorted just from one person.
Wow.
Which is amazing if you have a team of alchemists working together on this. So remember, these small things may seem insignificant on their own, but if you do this over phase 1 and 2 to prepare for the Black Temple, it will pay off for you massively.
Ape together strong.
Another amazing method you can use to increase your shadow resistance is to get 2 amber bands of shadow protection, granting you 42 shadow resistance and a decent amount of stamina. Of course, you can find other green items that you can snipe off the auction house if they go for cheap, so always be on the lookout for pieces that can increase your resistance, especially in phase 1 and 2, where some players may not be actively preparing for Mother Shahraz, so they may go for a cheaper price. If you find a random item with decent shadow resistance, do not sell it for some quick gold. Keep it in your guild bank until you know exactly what your guild's shadow resistance
Dude, they're adding
is,
guild banks,
and then
man.
you
I
can
totally
consider
forgot.
handing it out to raid members or selling off pieces your guild won't need. You also have a number of shadow resistance enchants available to help boost the numbers. You won't need any of these if you have all the crafted gear, so this is to be used if you're missing some pieces, since you really want to be using the best in slot enchants on the epic crafted gear instead. Another way to alleviate the materials you need from Mother Shahraz are by taking advantage of class abilities, specifically rogues and warlocks.
2020, yeah, hell
Rogues
yeah.
have quite an easy time on this boss fight.
That was a good year, man. 2012 was like, it was a really good year.
By fatal attraction to negate incoming damage. They also have sprint and health stones to help survive another round of fatal attraction. And since Cloak of Shadows is only a 1 minute cooldown, they have a lot of leeway to survive this encounter if they manage their cooldowns correctly.
So throughout TBC, you will come to find that when Blizzard was designing rogues and balancing their toolkit and their spells and talents and abilities, that when they were designing rogues, they were actually also smoking meth.
While only wearing an average amount of shadow resistance. Warlocks also have a very easy time due to the talent Nether Protection, which gives them a 30% chance to make them completely immune to incoming fire and shadow spells for 4 seconds.
Ooh.
Which is basically like their own version of Cloak of Shadows. So with this talent, Warlocks can get away with only needing around 200 resistance, and considering most raids will have about 3 to 4 Warlocks, that is a huge amount of resources saved that can be used for
hell
other
yeah,
members of
man.
the raid.
Hell yeah, dude.
When your raid has completed tier 6 content for a few weeks, obtaining some powerful items, once they're comfortable with Mother Shahraz, you can have the raid float around 280 shadow resistance, since the only real mechanic to worry about is fatal attraction. The last thing that some people may ask about is the reputation required with the Ashtung Deathsworn, since some of the crafting recipes require Honoured. Well, once you complete the Black Temple attunement, you would have gained 4,350 reputation, and if you clear the Black Temple up until Mother Shahraz, you will have enough reputation to buy all the recipes you need.
Yes, that's true. I checked the math.
So thankfully, you won't have to worry about trash farming to acquire the recipes the first time you enter the Black Temple. So in summary, you want your guild to be on the look.
Chat. He's here. Everyone say good video. Everyone say good video. Everyone say nice video, dude. He's here. He's here. Everyone say good video.
Look out for all these crafting materials as soon as TBC Classic launches, so you're adequately prepared to craft a huge amount of shadow resistance for the raid. Have a group of 30 from your guild split into 10-man groups and farm Mount Hyjal trash until you have enough Hearts of Darkness for the raid to meet the minimum amount of shadow resistance for Mother Shahraz. Make good use of your guild alchemists to create Flasks of Chromatic Wonder, as well as transmute Primal Life and Primal Shadow where possible. Make sure to snipe any and every good green shadow resistance.
Wait, okay, so the type of alchemists are transmutation, potion alchemists, flask, potion, flask, transmutation. Do you get any bonus for primal transmutes if you're a transmutation master? Do you get like a 2-for-1 with your primal transmutes? I totally forgot. All I remember is the primal might transmute. All I remember is primal might. It can also proc if you're doing like earth to water. Really? You can proc. Oh, dude. Oh, shit, man. I thought it was only primal might. That's fucking nutty. That's crazy.
Item of the auction house before.
But you need to be level 68 to choose one of the paths, by the way. It's not 60, it's 68.
They become ridiculously expensive.
Oh, man.
Take advantage of any shadow resistance enchants available to boost your resistance numbers. And lastly, use rogue and warlock abilities to reduce the amount of materials needed for your raid to bring down Mother Shahraz.
I mean, this to me just means if you're a warlock, you have to spend less gold, right? Which is a W. That's really good.
Many guilds are going to want to clear the Black Temple as soon as it releases. Since every week Illidan isn't taken down, it's another lost opportunity for the guild to acquire Warglaive or some other amazing loot that he drops. You have a huge amount of preparation ahead of you if you want to get past Mother Shahraz in the early weeks of Phase 3. Do the smart thing and prepare as much as you can as soon as TBC Classic releases. I hope you learned some valuable insight and information from this video.
Very good.
And can use it well in your preparations for the Black Temple.
Actually,
this is the Bald Boot.
A lot of very useful reminders. Okay, guys, listen, upvote, subscribe, everyone link and watch.